Alright guys, so we're here. We just finished Battle of the Champions. We've been hyping up for how long, Corey?
A couple months, yeah.
A couple months, and we finally got finished. And you ended up coming in second. But with something, I mean, everybody probably figured you would play, but at the end of the day, we really weren't expecting it whatsoever.
Yeah.
And what have you been up to, first of all? Because you haven't been in this game that much.
Well, I've pretty much continued my just run at all the premier events. I don't bother playing in the regionals or even the ARGs that are close. I've just been playing in the YCSs, and I bubbled San Jose. I was playing Infernoids with Minerva and Wolf, and it was pretty good. Me and my friend A, we worked on it a lot, and I ended up losing in the first round of day 2 after getting pretty unlucky, but getting also really lucky day 1. So I tiptoed around Yu-Gi-Oh! The last couple months, especially since Nationals, but I've been playing a lot of Magic. They have a new Magic set, and it's really good. So I went to, the Grand Prix in Atlanta was here a couple weeks ago. I went to Pittsburgh last weekend. Right when I got back from Pittsburgh, I started working on this deck. I saw Bowden won with Pepe. Big shout out to Bowden. Deck seemed really powerful, seemed really exploitable, so I just kind of built an anti-meta deck to combat it, and I figured that Noah and Desmond would probably be playing the deck, and I pretty much knew that Craig would be playing Infernoid, so playing a reactive deck in a 3-person tournament, I was able to pretty easily construct a deck to fight them or whatever. So I came to Scythe Control once again.
2.0?
2.0.
Oh, that's awesome. So let's see this. I'm excited, actually.
All right. Well, first off, my girl, Traptrix Vermilio, pretty much still one of the best +1s that you can get. While rank 4 decks don't really have a high ceiling, being able to find whatever trap you need for this certain situation can be really good, especially now. Like Time Space Trap Hole got a lot better with all the pendulum summonings going on, and Vermilio is still just pretty much the thing. Also, being able to special her during your opponent's turn, or specialing her ever to be able to pop one of their cards is really good because they need all their scales and everything. So, yeah, cannot function without Vermilio. And Dionea. Dionea is still really good. Her effect to be able to bring back a trap hole is still really good too. Like I said, the pendulum decks, if you can stop them from being able to summon their cards, they really don't put up much of a fight against you. Honestly, the way this deck works is like it's very, very reactive, and I don't have a lot of threats, so I really have to manage my my threats very carefully.
Yeah.
I didn't play many monsters, so pretty much whenever I had one of these, I needed to make sure that I was pushing the game along, because you can't kill your opponent with trap cards. So being able to like make sure that all my traps protected these cards is usually what let me get to the end game. So and then of course my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So we got an artifact package once again. These cards are actually, for the most part, kind of weak. The big all-star that made me want to play this deck was Scythe. Scythe is insanely good once again, not just because Burning Abyss, you know, kind of like when I played Scythe Control before, Burning Abyss is very, very straightforward, just want to chain Dante, so if you can Scythe them in the middle of their tracks, they definitely have a tough time, like, regaining momentum. Pretty much the same thing with the pendulum deck. Like, just as long as you like continue following them as they're like trying to make their plays, and you can catch them in a Scythe, they just kind of end the board with like a bunch of floaters, which this deck can easily kill over. Also, Scythe, I was really discouraged to play Scythe for the longest time because of El Shadow Fusion. El Shadow Fusion is just like the worst card against this card, so I was really happy to see that card go to 1. So this was the main reactive package. Obviously, also I didn't expect really Cosmo, but like Lancia is really good against Cosmo and Infernoids, which Craig did end up playing Infernoids, so Lancia was pretty good against him. Moral Talk, it's, you know, staple. Wish I could play more. Artifact Beagle Tack. I really didn't want to play this card. I'm sure most of you are familiar with how much I hate Beagle Tack, but I was playing Artifact Ignition, which got like infinitely better with all the pendulum decks running around too. So Beagle Tack just kind of like becomes a mandatory card, and also the plays where you can go into a rank 5 with Ignition and one of these cards, you can flood the board with some pretty powerful monsters. And kind of the same thing, like I have to like manage my threats very carefully because I have so few of them. And this deck, while you look at it, it looks like not a lot of power, but But with the traps, if you just aggressively like kind of like play the traps onto all their cards, these cards can just kill your opponent out of nowhere. I can't tell you how many times a day I just like would summon Remilio, it would die, and then end a turn, Sanctum, a Beagle Tack, and a Scythe, lock down their field, play Dianea. That's so much damage. So these cards, while you can brick by drawing the wrong half of your deck, they are pretty. I think they're one of the best reactive options we have.
Okay.
And this time around, I had a new package. This finishes off my monsters in my deck, but we got. I'm sure you guys will see it coming, but I played Brilliant Fusion. Brilliant Fusion, with this deck, it was able to allow me to have multiple normal summons in these hands that I drew too many of my monsters. And Seraph Knight is a level 5, which very conveniently can be overlaid with these to make rank 5s. And these cards, kind of like I said, I am a rank 4 deck, so they can be tutored, and Brilliant Fusion is probably one of the best ways that I can have access to rank 4s.
Okay.
These are conveniently light monsters too. There was I'm sure it may come up, but if I needed to send a Scythe so that I could be able to stop them from going off, I could play Brilliant Fusion, make this, send Scythe, during their turn call the Haunted Scythe, lock them out, next turn I can overlay Scythe in this and make another rank 5. So I really liked the convenience of this being a level 5. Garnet is obviously kind of weak, but I needed to play 2 just so that my Brilliant Fusions were always live. And Damage Juggler is pretty good with this deck too, because kind of like the threats that I was talking about, I usually don't have a lot of threats, so if I'm sitting behind a bunch of traps and my opponent pushes, Damage Juggler can kind of help those hands where I get back into the game the next turn by easily accessing more monsters. So this was the monster package, and it felt pretty tight. Like I said, probably Beagle Tack was one of the worst things, or I could have been greedy and tried to only play one of these, because obviously it's not good to draw them, but I just wanted to make sure that my ignitions were consistent and my Brilliant Fusion was consistent. I actually a lot of time today would fusion, send this, send a clown, make a Daigusto Emerald, special summon this, floating the Trick Clown, and then could overlay. Yeah. This deck out of nowhere can no cards in hand after simplifying the game state, deal 8,000 points of damage. Especially with people playing Solemn Scolding today a lot, was really convenient to help this deck kill them. So this is pretty stellar monster package.
Okay. Would you change anything about the monsters?
Yeah, like I said, I would have to play around the numbers a little bit more. I would say most of these were pretty stock. I definitely didn't want to play any more of these, because that's where you start to brick. When you play cards like Artifacts, you have to play cards that are good on their own, and as you can see, most of these cards not good on their own. This card kind of helps, but if you draw any combination of this, that's why I play traps, is so I can help make sure that I don't brick too hard. Next. So kind of like I was saying, I could draw the wrong half of my deck pretty often, so I just wanted to have Upstart Goblin. Pretty much every game I want to lead with Mermilio, so or Mermilio or Sanctum, or drawing the Ignition plus Beagle Talk to help some of the hands. Pretty much, I really want to play Pod Duality too, but I needed a special summon with the Gem Knight Fusion and the Clowns and stuff like that, so I wasn't able to squeeze Pot. Have to play Ignition. Ignition, like I said, it's really good now because all the Pendulum decks running all over the place kind of keeps their scales in check, and also if you draw too many of them, it's fine because Beagle Tech helps you make rank 5 plays, so Ignition's pretty good. And then to finish off the spells, pretty much since we are very low on threats, these cards are pretty much monsters. I don't play enough monsters to have instant fusion be super consistent. Even Soul Charge is probably a little bit better because I play the rank 5s and stuff like that, so I really wanted to be able to make multiple rank 5s and stuff like that. So Soul Charge was over the second instant fusion. Raigeki felt pretty weak today, but it just felt kind of necessary. There's just always ignorant people playing Majesty's Fiend, Vanity's Fiend. I don't want to get stuck with those. I would say Raigeki was pretty weak, but it was just kind of a catch-all card, so I really wanted it.
Okay.
And then of course the Brilliant Fusion like isn't ever the worst. Like being able to get into a rank 5 and thin your deck and draw the clown pieces you need. Most of these cards like really help the consistency of the deck, except for Raigeki. I would probably I don't know what I'd play over Raigeki, but Raigeki is probably the weakest card in the deck today. Yeah, most of these cards are pretty straightforward. MST, Double Cyclone, both cross my mind, but with if people are gonna play Cosmos or Infernoids, I would pretty much just like want more cards like this. So
okay.
yeah, these are the spells and the traps. Staple, 3 Sanctum, still really good. Got Galaxy Cyclone and MST'd all day today. Pretty much being able to go get whatever of the pieces that you need to stop your opponent in their tracks. Like I said, if your opponent clearly is about to activate a Pendulum Summon, you can Scythe to stop them. If the Lancia had a lot of utility, Mortal Attack's best card, Beetle Attack helps you flood into rank 5 plays. Pretty much the Call of the Haunted were also a very big staple in this deck. Being able to have the draws where like Ignition and Beagle Talk doesn't like really do much unless you have stuff to go with it. So being able to like call the Haunted, like being able to Scythe them, and then if the Scythe died, and being able to call the Haunted and Scythe again, just to like make sure they can never Pendulum out of the extra deck, or being able to call the Haunted something and being able to Pleiades back to call the Haunted.
Yeah.
Like I can't tell you like how important or how good it is to be able to have a floating Pleiades effect and to be able to control how many times you're going to Scythe them again or Moral Talk them again. So Call the Haunted was actually like a very key essential part of this deck. Vermilio's package. So we got, like I said, Time Space Trap Hole got really good because of all the Pendulum. Even against like Infernoids, it's like okay. Like you can't get the stuff out of the graveyard, unfortunately, but this card catches a lot, especially the Pendulum deck. Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare had like a lot of uses. Stardust Dragon is like already hard enough to deal with, so like it's kind of like a third Time Space for that. But the Treacherous Trap Hole maybe should have just been a third Time Space. I just wanted to like have some outs to some of the effects, and then Bottomless Trap Hole is like probably the staple. Once again, Solemn Warning staple catches Denko and catches the Pendulum Summons, put them all in the grave or whatever. But Torrential is about just as weak as Raigeki. Like just the mass monster removal against Pendulums nowadays, like they just get all the cards back or the Plush Fire triggers or whatever. Torrential was like pretty weak today, unfortunately. I'm trying to remember like one use that it had, but I would definitely say that Torrential and Raigeki were probably like the weakest cards. Playing a reactive deck, you also like have to like sequence your traps like very, very correctly, especially against these good players who like know most of your hand face up most of the time when you're playing. So Torrential is even worse against like the people that were playing against it or playing around it. So yeah, I would definitely say Raigeki and Torrential are probably the worst cards in the deck, but everything else felt pretty good. Even this countering Stardust Dragon or Nodin or whatever, all those cards are like pretty good. So yeah, that's the main deck.
What about the extra deck?
Yeah, let's look at the extra deck. Instant Fusion package and Gem Knight. So obviously played this. One Nodin was really good. Yeah, Panzer Dragon I didn't make all day today. It's really interesting. Like it catches like some random cards and random situations, but the level 5 light being able to have instant fusion and go into Pleiades if I need it, or to be able to go into like Volcasaurus to like kill them in one turn. The instant fusion, like I said, was like pretty weak in my deck because I didn't have many ways to like. I just don't have that many level 4 monsters, so instant fusion was like kind of weak. So if I ever drew it, rather than making Nodin, I would just like make Panzer Dragon and I can go into this and then kill them with Gaia Dragon, or make some kind of play. Like I could even like Pleiades a Plush Fire and then Gaia Dragon and kill like a clown or something like that. So Panzer Dragon didn't come up, but level 5 light is the main reason why I played it. I don't need to explain Norden, and I don't need to explain this card. Yeah, my rank 5s. So these cards I didn't give enough shout out to the artifacts for, but these cards like really powerful. Being able to make Durandal to like help pop the artifacts in the back row or whatever, and you can control your opponent's hand after like Draco Slayer or whatever. Durandal was like, I made Durandal a lot today. I also like, it's good to have him on the bench for your Ptolemaeus. Since I played Ptolemaeus, for whatever reason, if I played against Burning Abyss, I had Diamond, but also the games where I like make him throw the third material, being able to like have the access to these 2 cards is like really like heavy utility. Like these cards have like are polarized like their effects, so like being able to bounce something, or being able to stop Raigeki, or being able to shuffle their hand, or being able to cycle my Call the Haunted. This is like a really powerful combination of cards. Kind of thing I was talking about, not being able to play much threats. These cards were really good, like being able to kill my opponent out of nowhere. Thank God none of my opponents had Damage Juggler all day to be able to kill my Volk.
You did that a lot today.
Yeah. Most of the time, like they had already used the Damage Juggler, so like Volk usually dodged most of them, and if they're going off and have already made a field with Denko, they probably have already used their Damage Juggler. So this card was usually pretty safe, and the original attack was like came up multiple times today, like Seraph Knight or Trick Clown having 0 attack while in play. This card hits them for the 1600 or the however much attack they have, and then if they want to bring back Clown or bring back something, the Trample or Piercing for this card help me being able to kill my opponents really fast. So like this was a huge necessity, being able to kill my opponents. And then the rank 4s. Pretty much against Infernoid, these cards are pretty powerful, especially if you can like make these 2 after a Soul Charge or Instant Fusion or Dianea play. Being able to make Roach and protect it after getting stuff out of their graveyard is pretty good. Like I said, I figured Craig would be playing Infernoids. This card even has like some uses against some other things too. So I was pretty much going to play these. Daigusto Emerald was like, I never once today, I think 3 times I used the special summon a monster from the grave effect, and I never once shuffled 3 things back in. Silent Honor Arc was really good, pretty much being able to protect from Raigeki or Torrential. Like I said, I just don't play many threats, so like the games where like this card lives in play and gets in 2100 damage are actually going to come up a lot. He gets pumped by Abyss Dweller too. Abyss Dweller is just a necessity. I actually think I only made it once today and it didn't matter, but probably the weakest card in the extra deck today. And then Castel overperformed as well against the Plush Fire. Being able to shuffle it back in. Like Plush Fire was really annoying. Like Abyss Dweller doesn't even stop Plush Fire, so being able to have Castel was like very, very important today. I think there was one time I like really needed a second Castel, but Silent Honor Arc barely cut the chase for that. So yeah, this was pretty tight. I'd say the most cuttable card was like Panzer Dragon or Abyss Dweller. I would never feel comfortable entering a tournament without Abyss Dweller in my extra. Panzer Dragon was almost Giant Hand or Karen Gorgon. I didn't really know which of those I should play, but felt pretty safe about Panzer Dragon being level 5, so just stuck with it.
Okay.
Side deck.
What about this side deck?
Yeah, it was very, very important side deck I had for this tournament. For Craig, I was pretty confident Craig was on Infernoids.
I think we all knew that was going to happen.
Yeah,
that's all he
he destroyed the preliminary with Infernoids. So and he knew the deck pretty well too. So I felt pretty safe bet that he was going to be on Infernoids. So we went to 3 Iron Wall. Dark Trap Hole, Lancia, Emptiness. These cards like okay against Cosmo as it is too, so like even if I was playing in a real tournament or if I expect him to play Cosmo, most of these cards are like fine. It's kind of funny how these contradict this, but if you have Iron Wall, you probably don't care about whatever they're doing. Not often, but so these, and obviously you can search this off your Murmilios. Iron Wall can't get Galaxy Cyclone, so like that's probably like one of the best utilities that you can have for them. Emptiness, pretty much just for Craig. I think Noah like offered. I asked Noah to side it out, and he said no. And then like I saw him think about it. And he's like, no, we can just leave it in because it was very obvious. Like if I'm playing Ignitions and Sanctums and Upstarts, like I can get rid of this whenever I want. And this card's just gonna like you're gonna get 2 for 1 a lot of the time. So Emptiness was mostly there just to keep people from having it against me. So that was and against Craig. Lancia, same thing. Pretty much Cosmo, Infernoid doesn't really do anything against anything else.
Yeah.
Pepe. This is my plan against them today.
Bruh.
So
let me know about these cards.
All right. Well, I know you guys are dying to hear about this one.
Like,
so I saw this card. Yeah. Me and a friend have been talking about this card for months. We bought about probably 50 or so. being able to like play a deck that doesn't have any cards for you to, you know, have to discard to it, and also with Brilliant Fusion running around, this card was insane. Like I saw this card and knew that like I really needed it, especially since my deck is, like I said, there's a lot of cards that don't do anything when you have them, and there's a lot of cards that like help, you know, fuel the rest of the deck. So being able to draw 3 and discard 1 was insane. But it's also, this card counters Wavering Eyes, this card counters Ignister Prominence, the card, it counters Draco Slayer. All those things came up today against Noah and Desmond. Like every single time I was able to activate this. Against Desmond, I drew 9 cards in 2 turns with this and stopped his Draco Slayer play. Same thing against Noah. Pretty much every time I got to top deck this card and discard a Trick Clown, this card was... I don't know why people don't just read Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like the first thing it says, draw cards, you know, like this card was just absolutely insane for me today, and will definitely be a menace for Pepe to deal with in the future. Thunder King, I wasn't like positive on Thunder King. He's like good against like a lot of the Pepe cards. I wanted Mistake, but I really actually just wanted another monster. So being able to have like another monster that I could call the Haunted back, or like being able to have you know, just another 1900 beat stick against them felt pretty good. It was like a haphazard decision. I wouldn't say it was like the best, but there's a lot of times where I'm sure we've all lost a Thunder King and a bunch of traps protecting it. So I was pretty happy. But it's another instant fusion target against Infernoids and Synchros like Stardust Dragon. This card is really good. The MSTs were obviously against Pepe as well. It was okay. I'm sure there's like a lot of cards that it could have been instead. It's like kind of awkward to like draw MST after you've like protected all their stuff. Yeah. But I just want to have one of these cards or some of these cards against them. So just as long as I'm able to have, you know, some of them, the more the better. So I didn't really think about XYZ Universe for this tournament, and the concept of once Noah watches me play once, he's going to know that this card's in my extra deck and he's just never going to play into it. Also the chance that Noah's playing Burning Abyss, this card's like fine against them. Against like 2 rank 4s, you can get like Gaia Dragon just randomly. So I awkwardly, I only like sided 1 against Noah for some of the games that we played, but once I saw that he was on Denko as well, I just actually didn't use this card like at all today. Mind Control actually was really good for multiple reasons. There's a lot of times where Seraph Knight is left in play. Desmond left Seraph Knight against me in play, and I just made my own Seraph Knight, mind controlled it, and you can go into a rank 5 town. Not Pleiades. I made Pleiades unfortunately against him, and didn't realize he realized it like at the beginning of the next game, and it was really unfortunate. But being able to make Durandal is like, you know, pretty much just as good. Or I think you can make Durandal, right?
Yeah, of course you can.
Okay. But also against Noah, like being able to mind control Denko is like a huge thing. Like Denko, I really don't want to have Raigeki against Pepe that much, but mind control, even like, I'm trying to remember, it's like, oh yeah, the pendulum cards. Like there was a game where Noah set like a mirror conductor, and I thought it was a plush fire, but like if you can mind control and take their clowns and hide them under your XYZ, or take their pendulums and keep them from going into the extra deck, mind control actually overperformed for me today.
Crazy, that's crazy. And when we saw you do that, that was. You like cleared you cleared the board of like 4 cards. I believe it might have been against you.
Yeah.
There's like Ragna Zero and like a Seraphine and some other stuff. It was ridiculous.
That was actually Ragna Zero probably should have been in my extra deck today. That card was insane. The whole mirror conductor running everywhere, and the Noah's Snake Part Naga or whatever it's called pretty much overperformed. So yeah, maybe that was a card that should have been in the extra deck. But yeah, the deck felt really tight. Knowing that I was probably going to play against Pepe helped a lot, because like I was able to like build most of my deck to beat it. In a YCS, this deck probably wouldn't perform that well because you can play against anything. Like it kind of sucks. But I mean, there will probably be a lot of Pepe or whatever. But as far as this deck goes, it's probably just good for this tournament. You can definitely still try it out. Like the artifact cards, Sanctum is like really powerful. But really just want to play a reactive deck because I knew the very couple people that I'd be playing against, and I just love trap tricks and artifacts and stuff. So
always,
it was pretty fun to continue playing with my Magic style deck or whatever.
Well, congrats on getting second place.
Yeah.
It was a good payday.
Yeah. I
Nonetheless.
mean, it was good steak and
Good matches.
Yeah. I did play some really good matches against Noah and Desmond. Everybody, all the matches I played today, they were really tight.
Technically, y'all ended up going what 5-5 altogether in y'all's match.
Yep, 5-5, and they were all really close games.
Yeah.
Like that all came down to the wire. So shout out to Super Games for running a really good event.
For real,
sponsoring all this stuff. That was a really cool thing. Shout out to all the people I played against today. Really good games of Yu-Gi-Oh.
Awesome. Well, congrats, Korey. We'll definitely see you again on the channel here very soon. I know people love your insight on all the decks, so take it easy.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely see you soon with more insightful videos.
Take care.
Later.